Hey guys, this is Cycle 2, Week 15, Fine Arts. Our artist this week is Degas, and the project that we're going to do is called Capturing Action, like Degas. Edgar Degas was an impressionist, and even though most impressionists of the time painted on the spot, just kind of whatever they saw on impulse, he planned out his art and he sketched it first. And a lot of times he would sketch what he saw wherever he was, and then he would take those sketches back to his studio and then he would paint them. He didn't use the same color and light that other impressionists used. He liked to paint snapshots kind of people, and he became really well known for capturing people in motion. He's most well known for his art of ballet dancers. But a lot of his art comes from different points of view, and that's something that makes his art very recognizable. In addition to painting with oils, which was very typical for the time, he also sketched with pastels. And that's what we are going to use this week. So I will be bringing pastel crayons, oil pastel crayons, that we can use to create this particular project. So paint, but not quite as messy. She's got the 1-sentence summary again, and then she kind of gives art basics on how to draw people and using human proportions. And so she really focuses on the skill side of it and developing an eye to what are the pieces of the human body. And then she gives us some tips on how to do that, and these are fantastic. So the first thing that you're going to do, each one of you is going to have 24 of these sheets, 3 for each one of the kiddos that are in your class. And this is a template. These numbers are how many heads. So when children start to get a little more comfortable with this process, they can figure out however big they want the head of their person to be, and then they can make 8. And that is how big of a space they need for their human being, or how small, depending on how big or small their head is. But this is what they're going to kind of practice with. And the first thing that they're going to do, you can tell them, hey, today we're going to draw some stick people, but these people are going to be a little special because they're going to be drawn with correct human proportions, and then we can also add some movement to them and add some clothing and things like that. So the first thing that you would want your kiddos to do is to look at this how to draw a person facing forward instruction. And I'll have 4 of these so they can share, they can pair up and kind of look at this. But I would imagine in class you would want to walk them through this one. Show them how to draw their head, which occupies the whole first space, where the hips go, where the shoulders go. And then show them, how to use small circles for the joints. And, you can probably use some pictures that are in here of some of Degas' work to give them some examples of joint, where they might find joints. This picture, obviously you have the head, you have the elbow joint, the wrist joint, where her shoulders go, her hips. Same thing with this lady here. So those are great examples to use to kind of jog their memory about all the different places where a human being has joints. For the youngest kiddos, this is probably as far as you're going to getting these stick figures. Maybe they'll have time once they've done this to fill in some shapes, make the stick figures not quite so sticky, add some clothes, add some hair, some facial features. Maybe have them practice what we practiced the first week back of the semester and put some facial expression to their people's heads. But that's probably about as far as you're going to get with the youngest class. The next exercise, if they kind of get through this fairly quickly, is to do how to draw a person profile. So this is showing you how to draw somebody who's looking sideways. And it's the same concept. We've got a head, we've got eyes, and then we've got shapes for major body sections and circles for all the joints. So again, for maybe the next level up, or if they get through how to draw a person facing forward and a person in profile, then they can draw or fill in hair, facial expression, clothing, that kind of thing. Give them the option too, if they would like, if they finished fairly quickly, to add in a background, just like we did last week. Can we put in some perspective? Can we put in a landscape or some scenery to make it a little bit more inviting for the person who's watching it, or who's looking at what they've created? Level 3 would be to walk them through both of these and then give them the option of one of these two. So this one is to how to draw a person jogging, and this one is how to draw a person throwing a spear. Very historically relevant considering cycle 2. I don't know, why they didn't choose some other things too, like riding a horse or that kind of thing. But some of these older kiddos, you can let them loose to see how these go, and then let them draw it, maybe add some details, some clothing, and then maybe add some scenery too if they would like. Another option is to take some of these paintings that Degas has done and put them in a page protector and let the student draw the parts. So draw an oval for the head, draw a shape for the hand, draw the parts where they have joints in their body as a stick figure, and then go in and fill in those shapes. Pull it out and look at the shapes that they have drawn, transfer that onto a sheet of paper, and then they can fill in the sketch or the painting from there. So the thing that I will say about oil pastels is that you can't really erase. So if you use a pencil to sketch first, use it lightly, and then use darker colors around the base part of that figure. So put on some darker clothing or things like that, or maybe sketch it, and then from your sketch on a separate piece of paper do the drawing while looking at your sketch instead of putting the oil pastels on top. I just throw that out there because some of you guys will have kiddos that are like, I don't want to see my pencil sketch. So also in the book, besides those two, she did put in drawing a stick person with perspective. This is drawing a stick person from a picture. So she showed you just what I was talking about, putting a picture in a page protector, and then how to draw the pieces that go to the stick figure. She's also kind of got in here a couple of different dancing stick figures. So if you have some dancers, or if you have someone that would be interested in that, there's a couple of different ones that she's included in here that might be fun. I didn't include all of them because that would have just gotten a little bit crazy. But if you have one of these, I'll have my book too, so you guys are welcome to show your students this, and they can use it on the template. They obviously just won't need this. This stick figure has the circle template on it too, so they would be able to use the circle template from here. They could also just use the back to draw, or use their oil pastels. So that is Cycle 2, Week 15, Degas.